Rudy and I are watching the golfers out there. The guy just like, where are you hitting? It went way over. The green is right over there. guess he overshot his mark. Anyway, I'm reading some really interesting stuff here by Roger Williams in the 17th century, describing the religions of the Native Americans around the Connecticut area. And this is a book that he called A Key to the Language, into the Language of America, where he has lots of interesting just things that he picked up and wrote down about his many years of experience living in the Americas in the 17th century. That is the 17th century? Hold on. This would be 1603, so 17th century, yeah. So anyway, here we go. I'm just going to read a little bit that I found interesting. It's about a page. This is this is from chapter 21 of his book, A Key into the Language of America, on religion and the soul, etc. He says, and he's going to give some words of the area, some Native American language. He says, Manitowak, God or gods. He that questions whether God made the world, the Indians will teach him. I must acknowledge I have received in my conversation with them many confirmations of those two great points. One, that God is, and two, that he is a rewarder of all of them that diligently seek him. Now, what I was struck by in reading all this was the amazing similarity between Western religions in many ways. Here we go. They will generally confess that God made all, but them in special, them being the Indians, although they deny not that Englishmen's God made Englishmen, and the heavens and earth there, yet their gods made them, and the heaven and earth there as well. So yeah, apparently their God made them and made them special. So they're the chosen people, but they don't deny. Here goes the golfers. The guy that overshot his mark, and Rudy's not happy about that at all. You gotta wipe your eye, buddy. But God made a special place for them, and the Western God, yeah, he made you guys too. Here's another word. This is a long one. I'm sure I'm butchering it. Namuskwana Mukwan Manit. God is angry with me? ? I have heard a poor Indian lament. This is Roger Williams writing. I have heard a poor Indian lamenting the loss of a child at break of day, call up his wife and children and all about him to lamentation, and with abundance of tears cry out. This is the Indian crying out. O God, thou hast taken away my child. Thou art angry with me. O turn thine anger from me, and spare the rest of my children. I'm sure he didn't speak with that language. This is him just quoting in his vernacular of the time, but it's just the translation. Again, O God, thou hast taken away my child. Thou art angry with me. O turn thine anger from me, and spare the rest of my children. A sentiment that any parent would certainly share. If they receive any good in hunting, fishing, harvest, etc., they acknowledge God in it. Yea, but if it be an ordinary accident, a fall, etc., they will say God was angry and did it. He's stuck in the sand now. Here, take a look. Right into the sand trap. Right into the sand trap. Excuse me. First yea, but if it be an ordinary accident, a fall, etc., they will say God was angry and did it. And they use the word musquantum manit. God is angry. But herein is their misery. First, this is where he's criticizing them, where they go wrong. He, according to Roger Williams, he says, first, they branch their Godhead into many gods. Secondly, attribute it to creatures. So, what would that be? Pantheism, in a way? Reminds me of Japan. Of both of those points. Okay, first, so he's going to elaborate. First, many gods. They have given me the names of 37, which I have, all which in their solemn worships they invocate as, here's an Indian word, Katwakwit, the great southwest god, to whose house all souls go, and from whom come their corn, beans, and they say, so these Indians live in the Connecticut area, but all things originate from the southwest, and their souls go to the southwest. Now that reminds me of the Japanese Western paradise, right? So in the Japanese tradition, in the Buddhist tradition, when they die, they go to Western paradise, and they come back at Obon to visit from Western paradise. So very interesting, southwest. And here's the names of the five principal gods. Wampanak, the eastern god. Chekwang, the western god. Wunamakik, the northern god, Sawand, the southern god, and Wutmanet, the house god. Whoa, that reminds me of Japan. Japan had the house god, and also, I don't know if if Japan has cardinal gods, but interesting. Now here's where it gets really interesting. This reminds me of Catholicism, and he even notes it here. He calls them papists, right? The papists are the Catholics. He says, even, and of course at this time, of course he's going to be from England. He's going to be again an Anglican, so that's a time of strong division between the Catholics and the Anglicans. He says, even as the papists have their he and she saint protectors as Saint George, Saint Patrick, Saint Denis, Virgin Mary, etc. Here's two gods, and these struck me. Sakwanit, the women's god, Mukwannakwek, the children's god. Now in Japan we had a child's god too. That would be Jizo-san, right? The patron saint of children, firemen, women, etc. But he was particularly a god of children. So the Indians had that too. And of course, I'm the Catholics. I'm sure there's lots of saints that look after children. The last bit here. He says, I was once with a native dying of a wound, given him by some murderous English who robbed him and ran him through with a rapier, from whom, in the heat of his wound, he at present escaped from them. So he got away, he got stabbed through by the Englishman with the rapier. What a way to die. Ow, so painful. But he escaped away, but dying of his wound, they suffered death at New Plymouth in New England. This native dying, what? He escaped from them, but dying of his wound, they suffered death at New Plymouth. So I guess they were at New Plymouth in New England. This native dying called much upon the aforementioned Mukwannakwek, I can't say it, the children's god, which of other natives I understood, as they believed, had appeared to the dying young man many years before, and bid him, whenever he was in distress, call upon him. So this young man, when he was younger, maybe a child, had seen this god of children, and the god of children had suggested to him that if you were ever in need, call upon me, and I'll be there for you, as he was dying from the rapier wound, from being robbed by the Englishman. Interesting. So I'm just really struck by the similarities between not only the Western religions and the Native American religions, but also the Japanese religions as well, namely Japan. Very strong similarities, and it goes on and on. Take care. Are you ready to? You still upset? I'll go clean your eyes in a little bit. Okay. Take care.